Here we go. My debut live stream. This is Zen Scalper. Today is June 25th, 2025. And we are on a new lease. New lease on life, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Jill. Without you, I could not have done it. And you're believing in me. The best friend I've ever had. And thank you to Alex. You know who you are. Let's get to trading. It's the 3 o'clock power hour. Today, Friday, June 25th, 2025. So we had an eventful day today, and market right now is moving much more fluidly, much more friendly than it has been in the past couple of days, ever since essentially Trump put out a tweet, a Trump Truth Social post, essentially reprimanding Canada, something to do with tariffs, and Trump ends all U.S. trade talks with Canada over digital services tax. That happened today at 1:44 p.m. The post hit Truth Social, and the market plummeted accordingly, as typically happens with Trump announcements, tweets. Here we are, 144. And as you can see, we had a drop of, what do you have here? 730. Well, no, it's even deeper than that. From 774 down to the wick here touched at 704. So 70 points, 280 ticks southbound on the Trump Truth Social. After that, the market seems to have lost some confidence, as we can see, and plummeted continually here. Wow. We're on the upswing again here from the low here, right at this pivot point, which is why I love the pivot points. I use the traditional setting, basically the default settings of pivot points. If you don't use pivot points, I highly recommend. They're a good caution flag, as it were, a sign that price might reverse, as it did exactly on the pivot point here. Not only this time, but twice. Came down to 600, 601, 600, and reversed. Came down again to 600, reversed again, and here we are on the upswing. This yellow line is my support and resistance lines that I draw on the chart based on the left. Look left and determine where price reverses course, as it did right over here at 1447, 2:46 p.m. Now we're coming down again from crossing yesterday's close, which was 672. My wonderful and very reliable custom built RSI Scalper Pro indicator here, which measures the, as I've described before, the strength, the relative strength. It's a relative strength indicator that uses the volume and also slope logic to give us an idea of how strong these candles are in their respective direction that they are heading at that moment. So as we can see now, we've got a green candle. We got a candle trying to go long. It's struggling. We've got the bears and the bulls wrestling here as usual. And it looks like the bulls are trying to take control, and they're gaining some ground here. Oh, big jump there. thinking about ChatGPT says, yeah, slow down there. I'm not quite feeling the strength of those bulls as she's just there about, I said the RSI Scalper Pro, I call her ChatGPT, is just above 50 and slightly sloping up, not quite at a 45-degree angle, which means it could reverse. And you know what reverse equals? Reverse equals pain. We don't want any pain in our trading journey, do we? We're approaching this deviation line, this VWAP deviation line. Here, this is the second deviation line, right? Oh, I'm sorry, the first, because the center VWAP line is right up here, the main VWAP at 737.50. So we're at the first deviation on the south side of the center VWAP line. So that means, you know, price likes to dance around these deviation lines and in between gravitating to and fro. Right now, as we're struggling to pass this first deviation, and looks like it's starting to make a little bit of reversal into the downward direction. The RSI strength indicator here is showing a little bit more significant strength for the bulls. However, it's still flat, which means could reverse. And look, it's now sloping a little bit downward. It follows the candles, but it gives us a indication based on its position between 0 and 100 here on the RSI indicator, above 50, of course, being in the strength of the bulls, and below 50, stronger bears, stronger sell side. We're on the stronger buy side now. Longs are more a better bet than shorts, according to the RSI Scalper Pro indicator. However, this could change, as we know, as the RSI is teetering in a downward position. Let's see what happens, because right now we're getting some dojis here that mean price can go in either direction. I don't really see a bull flag here, though we did come up a little bit choppy. As I say, not as cleanly as these drops. I'm sorry I missed these two. And I was showing somebody how to trade today and caught these 144 Trump tweet drops with a paper trader, as I was giving example. I notice here it chopped a little bit, consolidating after that drop settled down. But then we had one drop here at 2:10 p.m. for 3 minutes, a little bit of consolidation for it looks like 5 minutes, and then dropped again at 2:18 p.m. significantly. Those are, let's see. And there goes the alarm. 85-point drops right there, and at least 100 and some there. Let's see where we're going here in the current situation. Oh, looks like we pushed up there significantly past the deviation line of the VWAP and caught some resistance, which is now doing a slight reversal. Again, the RSI Scalper Pro is telling us that it's not quite strong enough to give us a signal that it's a reliable and safe buy. So we're going to hold off here and respect the RSI, respect the Scalper Pro, because we are Zen scalpers and we've got to remain Zen. Let's stay Zen, right? And that means patience, butterfly, discipline, and discernment. So what do we have? Look at more dojis, struggling, pushing down. NASDAQ pushing down. NASDAQ pushing down. Still on the high side of the RSI. Still not a strong slope downward, as is following or is mirroring, if you will, from the candle, the price candle, price action. Holding here at 688 in the 680s, 687, 688 range, 685 now, 686. Not enough movement to take a safe trade in either direction. So we're going to hold off. And now we're getting some pushback upward. Notice the EMA. I have the 3 EMA lines here, the 9 EMA, the 13, and the 21. All give a little bit closer indication of exponentially moving in which direction. And it's saying that we're moving upward. So that's another indication that a sell trade is probably not ideal at this time, even though we had those 3 long, well, I should say short, long shorts previous in the past 2 hours. Well, not even an hour, the past hour and a half. See, at 3:45, it'll be 2 hours since the Trump tweet. So the past 2 hours, we had some significant drops, which means that what goes down must go up, and especially in the NASDAQ market, which was approaching all-time highs this morning. Now we've come back down to prior levels, as you can see by my yellow resistance line here. Price wants to struggle at these 693 right here. Up and down, up and down. Not enough momentum to make a safe, profitable trade. So we're going to hold off and see what happens. Monitor this RSI down here and see if we show some stronger push. I see the RSI creeping up above my 70 marker, the point of demarcation, if you will, line of demarcation. Now she's flattened out. We don't trust a flat line. And now she's turned red along with the candle. So we're going to hold off. Plus that candle is getting a little bit far away from the 9 EMA line, which means it's probably going to come back down and touch that EMA again, as the price likes to do, as the EMA likes to attract and hold the candles close to the vest, as it were. As we can see, if we look back and follow the EMA stays close to the candles. The EMA curves down, so do the candles curve down. Now, of course, they call it repainting, whereas the EMA line follows the candles. But it gives us an indication, it gives us an idea of the direction, especially if we're looking in a forward, future direction, as we all, of course, are trading futures. So what we need to know is what's going to happen in the future, in the near future, but 1 minute from now is the future. So as we can see, those EMA lines are not curving downward in the slightest. They're telling us that it's pretty much in the direction it's going is the direction it's going to continue to go, which is upward, despite these bear candles, these short candles, these red candles pushing and creating these doji candles that we're seeing here that are basically an even struggle, an even tug of war between the bulls and the bears. And we got some bullish action here, but again, not enough. And looking here at the RSI, she's creeping by the millimeter. But you know what? I've got bitten before thinking that's enough. And you get into a trade and it pulls back. I've got 5 contracts here, which is a little bit risky. I think I'm going to reduce that. Scale down, people, scale down. I'm up $1,000 on the day. So that got me, and I did that with 2 contracts. I'm going to come back to 2 contracts. Oh, see, I should have been in on this here, a little bit lower. I'm sorry we missed this one, but feeling a little bit buy. We're getting a buy signal, and we're getting 2 times the volume indicator on this particular candle. We've got 1 second left, and we're on to the next one. Let's see how the next one comes in before we jump into anything here. As I say, it's far away from the EMA, and it's leveling off now, even after that previous candle buy signal. We should have gotten in on the buy signal on this candle. That would have been a decent profit, at least a few $100, depending on how many contracts. We're going to stick with 2 contracts because the market's getting a little bit choppier. If it was a cleaner flow with green candle after green candle, or vice versa, red candle after red candle and a downward slope, I would increase those number of contracts and multiply the earnings and the risk accordingly. So right now we're going to minimize, or at least taper off our risk by placing any imminent trade executions on with 2 contracts, rather not 1 but 2. Double our risk, double our profitability and profitability potential. So let's see what happens here as we doji again, and previous red candle with wicks on the top and the bottom showing rejection in both directions. We got rejection in both directions. Now we just got some rejection on the upside. This indicates to us that since we have these wicks here, and they're not that big of, too tremendously significant or large of wicks, but they are weakening. But we've had some weakening down here. And as we had weakening down here, for instance, look back to see what happened. Learn from the previous candles and patterns. When we had some wicks here, which showed resistance on the upside, we had a drop. So what we're expecting here is a drop, at least somewhat of a correction, as it were, before we possibly continue upward again, because the market does feel a little bit bullish, and it's historically been bullish overall. We're at 3:43 p.m., approaching the 350 algorithm, ready to close out the market in 17 minutes or 18 minutes, 17 and a half. Let's see what happens here. If we can get us another good trade before 4 p.m. market close. And the 350 algorithm, which is when everybody jumps in for their last minute trades and the market gets a little bit more volatile, significantly, usually. So, but that volatility could be up and down rather than one direction. So that's not the kind of volatility we were looking or hoping for. We're hoping for a consistent one direction push. So here's that downward candle, which I predicted based on those previous wicks, or that previous resistance on this candle, which turned red after trying to climb up here to 712, 22,712 was the high, the recent high here. Now we're sort of wrestling again in the 705 range. we have a signal of RSI crossed above 68, momentum building toward overbought. Overbought is an area that I like, part of my strategy to feel confident in a long or a short trade. Actually, overbought would be a long trade. Oversold, likewise, is where I feel confident in a short or sell trade. So let's see what happens here. Again, some resistance on that green candle. Lots of resistance. The bears are pushing back. The bears are pushing back. We do not have a good trade at this time, which is validated and verified by the RSI indicator, which is right there at the 70 line, but not above it. It's saying, and now it flattened. It went parallel to the 70 line, which means reversal is possible, if not likely. Look for a red candle. Pushing down. There it is. Not enough to scalp, but there is the resistance. I'm thinking we'll probably just get this kind of consolidation wrestling match here. Whoops. Did I speak too soon? For the rest of the hour, but let's see what happens here. Getting some movement here, but it's not safe. Not safe. Maybe I want to reduce to one contract. I'm going to do that. And I'm thinking, by the way, these green triangles down here are dark and light, respectively. Okay, the dark green means stronger than the light green. Makes sense, right? So the light green triangle means it's a significant push, but not as significant as the green triangle. So we got, here's the light green, for instance, and here's the dark green. I don't see it in the candles, but I trust the RSI. It has to do with the volume of each of those candles. Excuse me. Here we have another red candle resistance. How are we doing on the live stream? Do you have any? $2,300. Let's get some likes for this live stream so I can keep it going. As a matter of fact, let's get some likes and feel free to chat. Moderation helps everybody feel safe. Close. Okay. So when we get to 1,000 likes, we're going to have a giveaway. I'm going to give away 2 free Apex accounts. Here, let's see what we have here. Candles getting stronger, but they're not strong enough to trade. As you can see here, let me draw a line. Well, I mean, the EMA is clear as well. This is what we have, and we're crossing down. So here, and notice the RSI is coming down as well to the 50 mark. And if we get below that 50, we could probably possibly consider going in for a short, but I don't know. I think these bulls are really going to hold us upward. Yeah, there they are. Oh, 350 power hour. 350 algorithm. There she is. What should I do? Let's see. There we go. Took a little long trade there for about $200 profit. Too bad I didn't have two contracts. Would have been 400. Let's move it up to. That was steadier than I've often seen the 350 algorithm, which can be a little bit choppy. So that's what gave me the confidence to go in on that long. And I have a buy signal here on the RSI, as you can see, but the line did not cross the 70, which is why we had this pullback. And luckily I got out before too much of the pullback, but I didn't get as much of the juice as I could have gotten. I saw it up to $300 and something. Now we're pushing down. Immediately got rejected on the downward. As I say, the bulls are dominating in this market, despite the struggle. So we're up 1,200 on the day. Not bad for just starting it past 3 p.m. Future streams, I'm going to put some background music on. Didn't have time to set that up. This is our debut stream. Welcome to Zen Scalper debut YouTube stream for the 3 o'clock power hour on June 25th. NASDAQ pushing down, kind of respecting that EMA line, the 9 EMA, my first and closest EMA to the price action, as we can see here. We haven't had much cross of that EMA line, which means, again, that the bulls are in control in this situation, since they are riding above the EMA line, the candles. So we got some rejection off of that push down, and next candle still not looking extremely strong. Bam! Come on, one more push. I'll take it. 200 bucks, putting us at, whoa, it's continuing up. Now we're just touching that VWAP line. Currently at, 1394 on the day. I was hoping for 1400. We're $6 away. $6 away. I'd love to pass this Apex account. I just started today, this afternoon, as a matter of fact, late afternoon. Too bad I didn't start on that Trump tweet, because that would have passed the account with 1 and 3 minutes, which would have been a record. So we're in the afterglow, as it were, of the Trump tweet, which are always a beautiful. Just passing that VWAP with some vigor, but immediately resisting and coming right back down below the VWAP. Oops, now we're touching it again and crossing, but respecting the VWAP, aren't we? I'm going to take Whoa. Great. Oops. Took something there. 1427. So what did I take? Yeah, $50. Got up to 3 something, but I wasn't fast enough on closing that trade. That's why it's good sometimes to set a take profit level at even 20 points when the market is chopping like this, but it's in a particular direction, because you can just get tapped. And even if it reverses, if it taps, profit. So that would have been great. Matter of fact, I have one preset here. Let's try that. Let's do a 20-point buy on the next one, if it presents itself here. Right now, we're not sure. The RSI says slow down there, Nelly. Whoops. But I'm seeing this price action here. Slow down. It's sort of tiring down, running out of steam here. It's 3:56, almost 30 seconds. We've got 3.5 minutes for market slows down substantially at 4 p.m. Eastern time, New York time. Let's see what we have here, what we can squeeze out of this lemon. Any more juice? Oh, here it comes. Let me see, 5 seconds left on this candle. Why don't we wait till the next one? And here she is, and climbing fast. Got it. At 20 points. We're at 1,600 on the day. Two seconds left on this candle. One, and here's the next one, and we see some red right off the bat. So that's always a caution flag for me. When the candle starts off red, there she goes. Just a little bit, not too much, not too fervently. 577, 638, 650 contracts climbing. 703, 714, but she's being held back by those bulls. RSI is pointing downward at about 45 degrees, but still above the 70. Woo, overbought region. We're in the overbought region as we squeeze down here or push downward. Reversing in the upside direction. How many minutes left? 1 minute. 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining till 4 p.m. Still get a little activity at 4 o'clock, especially in the first 10 minutes of the 4 o'clock hour. But I think we might call it a day because things are getting a little choppier here. And I don't want to give back any of the profits that I've taken this afternoon. $1,600 on the day. Let's see what we got. 1601 and 60 cents. Not bad. Not bad. So, less than 30 seconds, 20 seconds now until 4 p.m. We're going to wrap up this day. Hope you were profitable too. Hope you learned something. And feel free to email me at zenscalper@gmail.com if you're interested in the RSI Scalper Pro indicator for yourself. I can send you the code. It's a custom built indicator. Took hours and days, actually, three or so days of 12 hours per day, 36, 40 hours to create and design and tweak this indicator, as well as my volume surge overlay balloons that you can see here directly on the candles. Wait a minute. Got some significant push downward here. But anyway, I can provide you both of these indicators, the Pine Code scripts, that, and you can use them on yourself, on your own chart, on TradingView chart, and they will assuredly, I am confident, make you money. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I repeat, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a regular beginner trader. Don't take my advice. And I'm not soliciting any financial advice because I am not a trader. So I want to be sure that that is clear. But I'm happy to provide guidance and show what I do that helps to make me successful at scalper trading. Zen Scalper signing off. And it's been a pleasure and an honor. And let's be grateful. Let's be Zen. Namaste. Peace.